In this video, I want to speak about why people don't overcome social anxiety and they don't grow confidence. They don't make the changes in their life. Now, I just come back today from working with one of my friends and my students who's been working with me on my 6 weeks program. He did a 6 weeks program with me a few months back and a boot camp with me last year before I started to, just on the cuff of me changing my teaching. This guy is amazing. This man is amazing. He's very brave. All he's been doing is facing his fears every week, massively growing in his life, very successful financially, and now becoming successful spiritually, working on all the areas that anyone that's had social anxiety and childhood trauma experiences, the same things that I went through. Terrifying fears, the terror and fear of talking to people and being around people and opening up, the fear of quitting addictions, the fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection, all the areas of fears, and the biological chaos that comes with social phobia, the worrying, and growing is difficult. What I've noticed is, and I've observed and I've seen with a lot of people who have got social anxiety, and just people in general, people are not prepared to put the work in. So for example, all the types of excuses, rationalizations, and pushing the blame on other people, I get people writing saying, they can't afford my course, my programs are too expensive. But the way I see it is, they're not too expensive for people that are serious, people that have transformed all around the world. And I find that's an excuse. Now, to answer that question, obviously, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. But my whole method is on YouTube for free. That's what makes me laugh when people say they can't afford it, they start complaining, or they can't make it to one of my events. I run free social circle meetups in London that are free, that anyone can attend who's got social anxiety or welcome. Fantastic network event, meeting like-minded people, you can get to speak to me. All my method is on YouTube. I retell it in every video for free. So why don't people do it? Why do people come on my programs? Why is there a difference between people that come on my programs, spend $2,000 on a 6 weeks program, transform their life, become socially confident, be happy in their life, and improve their finances as an investment, make more money in their business or their life, and most importantly, beyond money, self-esteem, happiness. You can't put a price on that. But there's a massive amount of people that don't want to take responsibility, want to blame everyone, want to play victim. You don't grow, you don't change. Do you know how much work I had to put in to get to where I got to? Do you know how much money I had to spend on mentorship? Every single penny that I spent on personal development was worth it. I spent thousands of pounds with my mentor. It's the best investment I ever made. It transformed, it healed my pain with my dad. That is priceless. I was very serious about my personal development. I was serious 10 years ago when I met Floyd, and I couldn't even go up to a girl, make eye contact. I was petrified of sexual intimacy. I practiced for 8 to 12 hours a day on London. Do you seriously think I would have got to where I got to if I didn't put the work in? So there is a lot of people live in a bubble. And I don't mean this to be unkind, I'm just in a very straight mood today. These people don't grow, they don't change. And it's always these people that complain about prices with coaching and mentorship. They complain that even when you give everything for free. But people that don't complain, that know the value of investing in themselves and actually putting in time, because investment isn't just money. Money is energy, investment is time. People make me laugh when they say they can't afford to come on a course, whether it's my course or another course, or just a course in personal development, but they've got the money to spend on alcohol, drugs. Some people go out and spend their money on hiring hookers. People spend their money on junk food. People's time is money. People spend their time complaining that they're not changing. People spend time going on YouTube attacking other people who are growing and doing amazing things in their life. When I first started, when I first met Floyd, you know how much money I had in my account? I had zero money in my account. I was on job seekers allowance, and there was about, 3 main streets in central London. At that time, I became one of the best guys in the world at meeting women from the street and teaching it, because I set out to be the best I could be. I mastered it. I absolutely mastered the art of going out and meeting women. I don't mean that arrogantly, and I was afraid. Of course I was scared, and of course I was worried about, and I wasn't even have my own place. I was living at my parents' and I was on job seekers allowance. Within a couple of years I changed that. I moved out of my parents, I fell in love with a girl I met from the street, I set my own business up, and I eventually made a very good living every month, and I taught men all around the world. When I first started, of course, I had to earn my brand. I had to build up my resume. I did free seminars, I did introductory boot camps, I built my reputation, people started to pay me. As my value went up in the market and I got more experienced, and people trusted the brand, I put the prices up. So you have to earn everything. You have to earn social confidence. You can't, I don't mean this to be unkind. I know it's difficult, I've been there. I was terrified, you've got no idea how frightened I was of people. I was frightened of my family, I didn't trust myself, I didn't trust human beings. But I couldn't live like this no more. And I did cry, I did make all the mistakes, I took drugs, I blamed people, I was angry, I was hateful. I don't think there wasn't a person on the earth that I wasn't prejudiced to. But I got to a stage in my life where I had to sort myself out. And I had to stop thinking small and saying, it's too much money or I haven't got time. When people say they can't afford it, haven't got time, well that's fear speaking. So why don't more people transform? I've transformed hundreds of men, but there's always a difference in character and in attitude to people that grow and overcome social anxiety and become confident. And especially, and I really don't mean to be unkind, guys that write to me, or I've had guys say that they're gonna, they've been watching my stuff and they appreciate it and they're dying to come to a talk and meet me, and I think great, I'm excited to meet them. They agreed to come, and on a day of the seminar I can't make it, or the train didn't come. It's just excuses. Because I understand people get afraid, I'm very understanding, I'm very caring, but there comes a point where you have to man up. And I don't mean man up by being physically aggressive. You have to take responsibility, you've got to face your fears, stop blaming people. When I wanted to do courses, when I think about it, I always raised the money, I always found a way. A determined man will find a way. I found a way eating ravioli in a fucking tin. I used to have to steal from Sainsbury's in my early 20s because I had no money. I had the money that I got paid from the job centre. That went on rent. The rest went on food, which was my addictions, junk food, and I was depressed in my flat. Do you seriously think I'd be here now if I just sat in my flat and said, the courses are too expensive, I can't bother to go down to a seminar even though it's free, I can't bother to go out and face my social fears, I should just be confident? You're never going to change, I'm sorry. I've got a strong faith in God. I'm a real big believer in, everyone deserves a second, third chance, but you've got to put the work in. God won't come forward if you don't come forward. I knew this deep down in my heart when I started. No one believed in me, and I can't blame them. My family didn't believe in me. My friends didn't take me serious. You know why they didn't take me serious? Because at the time, I was full of shit. I was talking too much, and I wasn't delivering. So I got to a stage where I thought, I'm sick and tired of trying to get my friends' approval or trying to get my family's approval. I'm going to go out and get my approval for myself. I'm going to go out and make my own money. Eventually I did. I got the girlfriends I wanted. I got attractive women, which I thought I couldn't do. I was told I was ugly all my life. I made the money, and eventually, as I grew more, as you guys know if you followed me, I worked with Jeff for 2 years. Best investment I ever made. Best investment. Even when I worked with Jeff, I had people around me saying, it's too expensive and all this stuff. I didn't listen to it because that's just other people's fear speaking. So it's never really about money. It's never about time. It's always about fear. People will do everything they can to rationalize their fear. We're all afraid. We all have fear, but we have to take responsibility and manage it. When we face it and we manage it, fear goes out of our life. We bring in a lot of love. And for people that say, people that are very cynical and skeptical and say, Johnny or other teachers, they just do it for the money, that's a very unintelligent thing to say. Because that's like saying any business just runs for the money. Of course, we have to make a living. This is my art. People have to pay for my time. This is my expertise. I didn't go out on the streets of London for 8 to 12 hours a day to give everything away for free. I have to make a living. If I didn't make a living, you wouldn't be watching these free YouTube videos now. Most of the work I put out is actually free, as I said. All the teaching I do on the 6 weeks program, it's all free on my YouTube channel. It's all free. But people don't go out and apply it because they've got fear. And that's really the reason people come to me, for me to help them to overcome their fear, because I know it's terrifying. I went through all the symptoms. So this is a lesson in life. This is not just about taking courses. It's not just the money, it's the attitude. The guys that I work with, these are amazing, brave men who know when they come to me, it's the best investment they're going to ever make. Because you're coming to someone who's a professional and an expert, and not just speaks about it, lives it and does it. I live integrity every day. I went out and practiced my social. Look at my YouTube channel. I am the proof of the product. You have to be the proof for yourself. Watching YouTube videos and complaining, making excuses, your social anxiety is not going to go away. It's not going to happen. All the faith in the world, it's just not going to change. You have to go and face your fears, and then you'll get help, and things will start coming your way, attracting the right woman, the right relationships. You've got to take responsibility, otherwise people are not going to just give you a living. You're going to be left behind. So this is a wake-up call for people that seem to think they're going to grow without any kind of suffering and just sitting at home and expecting it to be handed on a plate. Life doesn't work like that. Certainly hasn't been the case in my experience. When you take responsibility, it's so exciting. Then it feels like everyone wants to help you, and God wants to help you. But you can't blame other people, make excuses for your own shortcomings. Everything's free on YouTube. All my techniques, all my philosophies, all the teaching about honesty, about control, about refraining from addictions, the practical exercises, the products, Facebook, newsletters. But people won't do it. Most people won't because they're frightened. People are scared to change. People are frightened to look at themselves in the mirror and take responsibility for their own fears, and not to blame other people or blame this person. And the guys who come on my courses don't blame, don't moan, don't complain. They just get on with it. And that's why they grow and overcome their anxiety. There's too much wishy-washy stuff in the world of personal development, even in the dating industry. There's too much pussyfooting around. Pussyfooting around for me never transformed my life. Anytime I want something in life, I've got to go out and I've got to go and earn it. Whether it's me investing in a mentor who's got a higher instruction than me and learning from a mentor, and whether it's me facing my own fears. And I continue to do that on a weekly, monthly basis. And that's why I live an amazing life. And I'm free of social anxiety. And I'm super passionate about helping people, but not people that are not dedicated and lazy and haven't got the right attitude, because that's your choice. That's not me being unkind or not compassionate. I'm very compassionate. This is a message of compassion, but you've got to be a man. You've got to man up. Not in the physical sense, you've got to take responsibility. You've got to raise your level of intelligence and start taking some initiative. And there's nothing wrong with crying. Crying's not being a man. But the blame and the denial, rationalization, and making excuses when, to be fair, I do this because I am a kind person, I enjoy it, but there's not many YouTube channels out there that has as much free content as mine. With all the information that I tell, if you come on a 6 weeks program, I'm going to tell you the same thing that you've already heard on all my videos. So you'd say, what's the point of coming on it? Well, that's the case. People have got fear. So people come and work with me to get in person, get around me, feel the experience and the support. And that's ultimately what teaching is about. Always supporting you to do what you're afraid to do, what you know to do. That's the best mentorship that I've ever learned from my experience and teaching. And that's why I'm good. It's not an arrogant thing to say. I've suffered tremendously, but I don't complain, I don't blame anyone. I'm so grateful for life I've got. And that's how I overcome trauma with my father, my family, myself. I became an honest man. I rebuilt that's why I'm confident. You think I became confident on a weekend? I put hours of practice in with mentors, loads of mentors. Some paid mentors, some free mentors, seminars, learning from other teachers, other dating coaches, spiritual teachers. Even when I teach students, always learning, always putting myself in the firing line. That's why I've grown. As my mentor said, you don't grow in comfort. You don't. That's not how you grow. You have to. It's painful, but the pain goes on to give you the relief. Does that make sense? Same as when you do any physical training, spiritual, psychological. If it's not painful, you're not doing it properly to begin with, and then the release comes after. So for those of you who are not overcoming social anxiety, you're not looking at it, you're running away from it. You're designing your whole life around avoidance. And that's why the fear is getting stronger, the depression, the anxiety. And I've always said, because sometimes I get a voice in my head saying, am I being a bit too firm? Am I being a bit too, am I forgetting what it's like to have social phobia? Well, I'm not forgetting. I'm reminded every week. I work with people. I'm extremely delicate with people I work with. And it wasn't too long ago I had it. It was only 3 or 4 years ago. And I've had social anxiety for more years than haven't had it, if that makes sense. I'm going to be 33 years of age, and I've had it for, over 20 years, and I've overcome it through. I've told you the method. There's nothing to hide. You have to speak to people with honesty, and you have to get your integrity right. You have to cut pornography out. You have to work on jealousy, hate, stealing, cheating, lying. This is the formula that transforms my life. And you have to speak to people. You've got to go to social events. Sometimes you've got to go on a date, an online date, or an event. You've got to meet people, you've got to do public talks. You don't do everything in one day, but you gradually do it. When you do it, you'll be thanking me. I'm telling you, this is a wake-up call for people that are not applying the stuff. As good as my videos are, I can only do so much for a video. I say to people, come to my free event. If you can't afford a course, or it's not in your budget at the moment, get the courses that are more affordable. Don't tell me that you can't afford a few £100 or £80 for a Skype session, because people spend that down the pub. You spend that on junk food. Don't bullshit yourself. And if you don't want to invest in money, you don't have to invest in money. You can invest in gratitude, being grateful for the material that I put out by going out and applying it. I love it when people write to me and say, I watch your videos and I transform my life. You helped me to heal with my dad, or you've helped me to speak to a woman first time, or I'm starting to open up around people. I've been applying it. I feel happy. I both feel grateful. So this is not just talking about me, I'm talking about people in general. Getting a girlfriend, you've got to put the work in. An attractive woman with high self-esteem, she's going to want a confident man. You are a confident man, but you're not taking initiative to build that. Money's not going to fall to you. You have to get, as my mentor said, into the right state to make money. You've got to put value out like I do. You've got to put the truth out. You've got to deserve to earn money through connecting to your own greatness, whatever that is. You've got to exchange value for money. In the same way with friendship, you have to exchange love, honesty, truth. You can't expect to be tight, be greedy and not exchange anything, and people to give you stuff for free and things to fall on you. If that was the case, we wouldn't have problems. But problems are good. Problems help us to grow. Fears are good. We need fear in our life sometimes. We can't have it easy all the time. We wouldn't appreciate life. We'd become arrogant. So I'm very respectful. I've got a strong faith in God. But I've got to speak my mind now. I always speak my mind, but for a long time I wanted to say this. Don't let yourself down by blaming people, by saying poor me. Do you know how many people around the world are suffering from social phobia, depression? If you've got social anxiety, count yourself lucky that you're still alive. You've still got breath, you still wake up. You've got 24 hours in a day. You've got people all around the world. I'm not the only person that are going to support